the Yamaha Star Venture. The Yamaha Star Venture 2018 model. $25,000 of Japanese and American design, Japanese built, 113 cubic inch V-twin muscle. Now, we spent about 462 miles over the last 2 days aboard this bike, and man, this is a really neat bike. If you're a V-twin touring rider and you want something that can really go the distance, like really rack on the miles with ease, this Star Venture would probably be a logical motorcycle for you. It's just amazing. I mean, from the minute I hopped on the thing on day one, like just how lithe feeling this motorcycle is. It moves with such little effort through the controls. It's quite literally amazing how Yamaha engineers were able to make this 954-pound motorcycle. That's 954. This thing is not light at all, but when you're riding it, it sure feels light. Look at that. It's unbelievable how agile this thing is. You know, and even in the canyons, when you're throwing it around, it has pretty good ground clearance. I was surprised by, you know, how much lean angle this chassis can take before the floorboards and kickstands start dragging. Pretty impressive. There's also a preload adjustment knob here right underneath the seat that's pretty easy to get to. You just got to pop off one side plastic fairing, and now you can adjust the ride height of the rear end of the bike. So if you got your lady with you or a lot of gear, you know, crank that bad boy up, add some ride height to the thing so you can get a little bit more cornering clearance. Conversely, if you're running a real light load or you're running just down the freeway with no turns, you like the back end of the bike sack down, take out some preload. Either way, the choice is yours. Just a really excellent handling motorcycle. You know, you can't really find fault in the Star Venture's handling. It's super agile, goes wherever you want at the blink of an eye. Yet at the same time, it's, you know, when you're leaning through a corner, it holds a line stably. It's a very stable motorcycle. Yet the chassis is almost a little bit too responsive for my taste. You know, when I set in the corner, I want the bike just to stick there. If I put some import into the bars right or left, I generally like a little bit more of a slow, lazy reaction. Maybe that's just what I'm used to over the years and years and years of riding American V-twin. But this thing is real responsive. Conversely, if you're looking for a bike that, you know, you don't feel really comfortable riding these 900-pound bikes, and you want something that you can immediately, you know, just feel comfortable on and know that you're going to be able to put the bike where you need to on the road, whether it's the right lane, this left lane, the middle lane, wherever, this bike will do that. But for me in the corners, it's a little bit too maneuverable. It's just a personal preference thing. I know it kind of sounds odd, but that's just kind of how I feel. Comfort factor on this bike, my God, like, you know, Yamaha spent a lot of time in the wind tunnel getting the air management of this bike right. Yamaha has a multi-million-dollar wind tunnel in Japan, probably more than that, where they literally tune all the settings of the bodywork, the windscreen, which is adjustable, of course. Simple push on this button right here moves her down 3 inches. Anytime you can stop and it'll stop there. You can move it back up 3 inches. And in the topmost setting, it provides a nice cocoon of air. You know, it's not really cool this morning, but if it was, I would move these reflectors out like this. And what that does is that pushes the air around the motorcycle, keeps the air in here much more tranquil, and keeps the warmth in the cabin. Very nice feature. Very, very clever engineering by Yamaha. As you see here, I'm just going to depress this right cruise control button and get this thing going. There's my buddy Burns. Let's wave to Burns. That's Burns and his girlfriend he's riding unsafe with one glove and filming, but we'll do it. So cruise control is enabled. You hit the set minus button and cruise control is on. My hands are off the handlebars and we're riding exactly 80 miles per hour, pulling 2,900 RPM, which is 400 RPM more than peak torque comes on the engine. Peak torque comes on at 2,500 RPM, and that's really low for any motorcycle, let alone a big air-cooled V-twin. Yamaha says this thing puts out 126 pound-foot of torque at the crank, and it has a lot of low-end power. That's my favorite feature of this bike. You could just lug the engine, and when I say lug the engine, I'm not lying. Like, this thing can literally, like, you'll put it in, you know, 4th, 5th, 6th gear, and you can run it at 1,000 RPM, and it'll just lug and chug and pull right away. No herky-jerkiness, very smooth power pulses at that low engine running speed. And you know, this engine is perhaps the finest air-cooled V-twin engine ever made in the history of the world. Like, this engine is crazy how refined it is. You know, a lot of readers, a lot of our fans, a lot of our viewers and customers were asking us, why did Yamaha go with air-cooled? You know, Harley Davidson does water-cooled now, why didn't Yamaha? Well, Yamaha is sticking to its guns. For them, there was no engineering necessity to water cooling, and I love a good air-cooled motor. A lot of companies, we're not going to name any names, but a lot of companies, you know, from Italy, from America, they're adding water cooling, and to me it takes away a little bit from the character of the engine. Sometimes simple is better, and this air-cooled engine is all of that. I mean, you know, I wish this engine did have a little bit more beans up top, I can't lie. You know, we're downshifting into 4th gear, and you know, you give her the gas and it takes her a while to spool up. Would have liked to seen a little bit more power up top, but you know, Yamaha's audience and the audience in general for these V-twin riders is just, you know, big, slow, low-end grunt, and this thing definitely has it. I like the gear shift position indicator in this LCD. My only gripe is that when you have the clutch in, it goes into minus fill, and a lot of times in a stop, you know, I forget to downshift into 1st gear because I'm just not paying attention. So, you know, I'll launch and the bike will be in 3rd gear, and it, you know, kind of chugs off the line a little bit, which is actually saying a lot in itself that this bike can pull 3rd gear from a stop. But I would have liked to have seen this indicator always on, regardless if the clutch is in or not. That would be a good feature. A lot of other motorcycles are like that, and I would like to have seen that here on the Star Venture. Just a small squawk. Instrumentation, obviously the high point is this 7-inch infotainment center. You know, Yamaha, they did a marvelous job on the engineering, the mechanical engineering of this motorcycle. You know, Yamaha's been around for over 60 years, so when it comes to building stuff, they sure know how to do it. But electronics is new for everyone, including Yamaha, and this system is it's amazing. Like, all the features it has, it's almost so much it's hard to even know what's going on. You know, you have your TPS tire pressure monitors, air temp, battery voltage. By pushing this home button, you scroll from one of 3 primary screens. We're riding the deluxe model, which adds on another $2,000, pushes the MSRP to 27, I believe. And it comes with full GPS navigation. So instead of running navigation off your smartphone, it's got it inside. It just pulls it itself. Very ingenious. You know, the thing's touchscreen with gloves, which is totally unbelievable in my opinion. So you can adjust all the settings. We have CB radio, we have intercom, so I can talk to my passenger, who is my colleague Shanda Hurst. We can talk to her with the push of a button here. She can talk to us. We can read text messages. We can use voice commands to call people that are in our phone. It's absolutely unbelievable. It's a really nice feature, and it even gets better with Yamaha's Accessory audio system. It's this system from JM Audio, I believe they're called, out of Tucson, Arizona. I forget the actual accessory cost. I want to say it's about $400, but it actually hardwires in your helmet and allows you to communicate with the motorcycle, with your passenger. You know, some people might ask, well, why didn't they just use Bluetooth? Like, why didn't they use Bluetooth for this feature? Well, the problem with Bluetooth is the data throughput is too narrow. It doesn't have the bandwidth to support the features of the Star, so they actually had to use a hardwired connection. So, you know, you're going to want to purchase that for the optimum experience. You're also going to want to purchase Yamaha's Accessory backrest for the rider. You know, this cockpit is real comfortable, you know, ergonomically. The handlebars, you know, pretty low, not too far forward, not too far back. It's good. It's a good natural bend, no complaints there. Same thing with my legs. I'm 6 foot tall, and there's a good amount of room for the legs. Yeah, I would have liked to see maybe some foot pegs up front here so I can kick out my legs. Also would have liked to see a heel shifter. You know, to me, if you're riding a big V-twin touring bike, you have to have a heel shifter, and this bike doesn't have it. Definitely would want that. But the seat itself, you know, you can adjust the back position with this little lever on the right side of the motorcycle. Right now I have it all the way back because I'm 6 foot tall. If I was a little bit shorter, I'd probably push it forward just to kind of give me a more tailored fit here in the seat. But not having a backrest is a big deal for me. You might think, you know, I might be kind of a baby, but, you know, I ride motorcycles a lot, and I've ridden a lot more uncomfortable motorcycle recently here, and I didn't really have any back problems. But on this Star Venture, my middle back's been kind of bothering me on this ride just because I don't have that backrest support. I'd splurge to $300, $400 to get that rider backrest. As a plus, it also comes wired for heat, so it can work with the heated grips, heated seat, and pump some heat into that thing so you're even more warm on a chilly morning. Brakes on this bike, you know, the brakes they're fantastic. Yamaha always has a knack for getting the brakes right on this thing, and they work great. You know, the brakes up front, tons of power, big back brake. You know, you can really stomp on that thing. It's got a lot of power. I love the V-twin bikes with a big back brake. It's a really handy feature, and this Yamaha has it. Having ABS, you know, the ABS is really well, I guess the settings are just really good. You can use the brakes really hard, and you don't have to worry about the ABS actuating. It's a good system. You know, you can't turn off the ABS, but why would you? We were riding through some twisties yesterday, and, you know, whenever I would use the brakes, they didn't upset the chassis at all. Sometimes with other manufacturers with their link brakes, you'll apply the rear and it applies the front excessively, or vice versa, but not on this bike. Very well calibrated, very easy to ride. This bike has traction control. You know, obviously we weren't riding hard enough or on sketchy enough road surface to really feel how it works, but it's nice to know that it has it. And, you know, for all of you American V-twin riders that don't know about traction control, Yamaha is a leader in the motorcycle traction control industry right now. You know, they've been doing it since 2012 with the Yamaha YZF-R1, and, you know, most of its premium motorcycles have traction control. Obviously, the new traction control system in the you know, 2015 and up YZF-R1 is much more advanced than the system in here. But when other manufacturers tout, we have traction control, they might have it, but no one really does it. I should say few companies do it as well as Yamaha. So it's really nice to know that it has that feature. Also has adjustable power modes. So there's a setting right here, mode S. We're in the sport setting right now. You can hit T, and now we're in the touring setting. And what that does is it adjusts the throttle ratio. So the throttle ratio in T in touring mode is a little bit more modest, a little more mellow, gives a little bit smoother power. If you want a little bit more of a snappier, sporty feeling, put it in S, and the engine gets just a hair bit more rambunctious. You know, it's not that big of a difference, but it's just cool that you have that option. Speaking of rambunctious, Yamaha spent a great deal of time in the studio tuning the sound of this engine, tuning the sound of these mufflers, and the note of this engine is it's really terrific. I like how in the cabin it's not too loud, it's not overpowering. I can hear it, I can hear the power pulses, and I know it's there, but it's not loud enough to distract me from the nice scenery, from talking on the CB or intercom, from listening to my music. It does not disturb me at all. Yet, when I downshift and romp on it, I hear those two pistons sing. Really like that feature. Again, too, the sound of the mufflers, when you're standing on the side of the road and you hear this thing coming, you'll hear it. It's not obnoxiously loud, but it's got a nice rumble, and I really think it's cool that Yamaha's got a little bit different sounding than the other big American player in the sound department. It's a good sounding motorcycle. I wouldn't even change the pipes on this motorcycle. I'd run it stock. Yamaha put probably thousands of hours in the sound lab to get the tune of this engine right. I wouldn't mess with it, man. No one from the aftermarket's going to do a better job than Yamaha in getting the sound tuning better. For God's sakes, I mean, they own a music company. No one's going to get better. Keep the pipes on stock, run it stock. Also, really like about this engine is, on other V-twin touring bikes, there's a lot of like drivetrain noise, drivetrain whine when you're, running in third gear at low RPM, or, coming to a stop. You hear that annoying howl from the drivetrain, that whine. Well, that whine is absolutely and totally absent in this motorcycle. All you hear is the engine. It's unbelievable how good this powertrain is. It shifts gears with precision. The clutches, it's weighted well, but not too wimpy, but not too stiff either. You can adjust the position of the clutch lever in or out based on the size of your hands. I have a little bit smaller hands than most people. I wear a size medium glove. A lot of big American dudes are gonna have bigger hands, and you can move the lever position out or in based on your hands. It's a really handy feature. Right now I have the position in 4 of 6, so 6 is the most close to the handlebar, and 1's the most far out. And it's just going to allow you to have more comfort and be able to manipulate the front brake and the clutch a lot easier in a pinch. Great motorcycle, lots of storage compartment here, another one here on the port side of the motorcycle by my left foot, 2 cubbies back behind me for the passenger, 3 lockable cases, 2 side bags, 1 humongous top case that swallows 2 full face helmets. I mean, there's a lot of storage room on this motorcycle. No complaints there. Also, like, it has a 12-volt power plug here, so you can power stuff. There's another USB power port here. You can run some accessories if you wanted to bolt on a radar detector or some other doodads. The mirrors on this bike, nice, big, clear. The headlights, LED front and back. Big 4 LED headlights. Like, we haven't got a chance to ride at night, but I've ridden other Yamaha bikes, modern Yamaha bikes with LED headlights, and they're insane. Like the FJR 1300s headlights, unbelievable. And if you're going to be doing night riding, you're going to want this thing. These headlights in this bike, they're really going to create a big stream of light for you guys who are riding on desolate roads at midnight, riding the Sturgis and stuff like that. Fog lights, another nice accessory, also comes standard on the deluxe model. Button right here to turn them on or off. I haven't used them at night, but judging by the photos I saw, they are definitely very bright. And this is a cool bike. Would I buy this? Would I fork over the $25,000 for the standard model or the $27,000 for the deluxe model? I like this bike, and it's an amazing piece of machinery. It's an amazing tool for racking up the miles. I would probably gravitate towards something else, just because the super easy handling and super easy everything of this bike is, I like a little bit more raw experience. So for me, I would probably gravitate towards that machine with a little bit more raw experience, a little more rough around the edges. As long as I could get it for a fair price. If it was the same price as this, I would absolutely not get that bike. I would go with this. I mean, 25 grand. if you're gonna spend 25 grand, I don't care what bike you buy, this is the best value. This is the best value. I mean, factor in the warranty. Like, Yamaha offers a 5-year warranty on this motorcycle. 5 years. You know, like, they didn't have to do that, but they know that all the time and effort they put engineering this thing, you know, the 620,000 mile TBO, they know this bike's never going to break down. They know they're not going to have any warranty issues. That's why they give it a 5-year warranty. And really, honestly, if you're shopping for a big bore V-twin luxury touring bike, there's not even any competition, man. There really isn't. This is the bike you're going to want to get. Some of you guys might be asking, well, how about the Goldwing? What does it compare to the Goldwing? Well, this bike is even smoother than the Goldwing. Like, when you thought the Goldwing couldn't get any smoother, and that's a fine-tooth calibrated instrument of performance. This thing's even smoother. But, you know, it does have some limiting factors. You know, this is still a twin-cylinder engine compared to the 6-cylinder in the Goldwing. But honestly, this bike's more of a cruiser. Goldwing's more of a new age, you know, luxury touring motorcycle. It's more contemporary. It's more, dare I even say, sporty. It's not a typical, you know, V-twin American classic cruiser. This thing is. So really, they're two different markets. That's all I got. You guys might be asking what kind of setup I'm wearing today on this motorcycle. You know, I'm wearing some gear by Revit. Revit's a European gear-based brand in the Netherlands, and I really like what they're doing right now. You know, they have a lot of different options stylistically. You know, I don't like the big baggy touring clothes. I like a little bit more of a slender cut. I want motorcycle gear that I can wear on the bike, and when I reach, you know, my destination, when I reach the bar, I can get off, grab a drink, and not look like a motorcyclist, just look like a dude, you know. And that's why I like Revit. They've really been able to synergize casual wear and riding wear, but it still has protection, you know. The pants I have, they have soft armor in the knees. This Hudson overcoat, this all denim overcoat, has protection in the shoulders and the elbows. It's not a lot, but it's there. You know, the denim construction is reinforced. It's really thick denim. This is high-end denim. This is the stuff you'd expect to see at, you know, Macy's or Nordstrom's for $500, but it doesn't cost $500. It only costs, you know, $250, $300. It's good stuff. This Fly 2 glove, it's vented, perforated, black. You know, protection of the knuckle, short cuff, easy to get on and off. Really nice glove. These TCX X-Cube air boots, my God, these boots are insane how comfortable they are, how much air they flow. These are a perfect summer riding boot. They vent really well, have great ankle protection, a real nice grippy Michelin sole, so there's grip everywhere, on the bike, off the bike, in the wet, in the dry. Great shoe. I highly recommend these TCX X-Cube riding shoes. These things are unbelievable for warm time riding. Another unbelievable piece of kit here is this showy modular helmet I have on. My God, this helmet is so insanely awesome, man. Like with the sunshade and the flip down. I'd open it right now, but we lose audio. You can flip this up and have no chin bar and be able to talk to people and drink your coffee, drink your water. The ventilation on this helmet, the fit, my God, I've been riding this helmet for 3 days and my head feels perfect. Not a bit of pressure, not even a hint of a headache, nothing, just absolute comfort. And the best thing about these showy helmets is how modular they are. So let's say you're in between size medium and large. Well, what you can do is you can get a large, and then you can buy some medium internal padding and thicken up the helmet, give it a little bit more customizable fit. You know, whether it's the top line or the cheek pads, you can change all of that and really dial in the fit. You quite literally get what you pay for. You know, there's a reason why, you know, showy helmets cost more. They're They're made in Japan. They're made by guys who actually care about your safety. The features on it are second to none, and they're excellent helmets. I mean, even the paint and the fit and finish is just, it's tremendous. That's all we got right now. We're gonna go ride some more. Make sure you tune into ridersdomain.com/magazine to read the written review on the 2018 Star Venture by Yamaha. Make sure you look us up on YouTube at Riders Domain, one word. We have tons of video content, tons of videos explaining the features and the ride experience on the Star Venture. You know, we're doing a little bit of everything at Riders Domain, so make sure you follow in, check us out. You know, whether you're a V-twin rider, or a sport bike rider, or a scooter rider, or dual sport rider, you know, as long as you like to ride on the street, we're gonna have something that you're gonna wanna watch, read, and learn about. So thanks for tuning in. We'll see you guys later. I'm out.